Al Weissman in a nutshell. We're back with North Rory Homeward. And North, can you sing a couple songs for us again now?
Okay, this one I'm going to grace you guys with something not musical theater, because I thought I needed a minor break from musical theater. This is Death Cab for Cuties, I Will Follow You Into the Dark.
Okay, here we go.
Love of mine, someday you will die, and I'll be close behind. I'll follow you into the dark, no blinding light or tunnels to gates of white, just our hands clasped so tight, waiting for the hint of a spark. If heaven and hell decide that they both are satisfied, illuminate the no's on their vacancy signs. If there's no one beside you when your soul embarks, then I'll follow you into the dark. In Catholic school, as vicious as Roman rule, I got my knuckles bruised by a lady in black, and I held my tongue as she told me, son, fear is the heart of love. So I never went back. If heaven and hell decide that they both are satisfied, illuminate the no's on their vacancy signs. If there's no one beside you when your soul embarks, then I'll follow you into the dark. You and me have seen everything to see, from Bangkok to Calgary, and the soles of your shoes are all worn down. The time for sleep is now. There's nothing to cry about, 'cause we'll hold each other soon in the blackest of rooms. If heaven and hell decide that they both are satisfied, illuminate the no's on their vacancy signs. If there's no one beside you when your soul embarks, then I'll follow you into the dark. I'll follow you into the dark. This appeared as a moral dilemma, 'cause at first it was weird, though I swore to eliminate the worst of the plague that devoured humanity. It's true, I was vague on the how, so how can it be that you have shown me the light? It's a brand new day, and the sun is high. All the birds are singing that you're gonna die. How I hesitated, now I wonder why. It's a brand new day. All the times that you beat me unconscious, I'll forgive. All the crimes incomplete, listen, honestly, I'll live. Mr. Right, Mr. Cool, Mr. Know-It-All is through. Now my future's so bright, and I owe it all to you. Showed me the light. It's a brand new me. I've got no remorse. Now the water's rising, but I know the course. I'm gonna shock the world, gonna show bad horse. It's a brand new day, and Penny will see the evil me. Not a joke, not a dork, not a failure. And she may cry, but her tears will dry when I hand her the keys to a shiny new Australia. It's It's a brand new day and the sun is high. All the angels sing because you're gonna die. Go ahead and laugh, yeah, I'm a funny guy. Tell everyone goodbye. It's a brand new day.
Very nice.
That's a fun one. That's from Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog, which is it was made on the internet, but it's like wildly popular and has a cult following. It's made by Joss Whedon, who's a filmmaking god, and acted by Neil Patrick Harris, who's a musical theater god. So it's just the best thing ever. And that song is like the main character's a villain, and he's his nemesis, the hero, is actually a big jerk face. So he's gonna get back at him now. It's
Very
pretty
nice.
fun.
Love your voice, man. Absolutely love your voice. I won't ask what your birth name was, but it is safe to think that the current name is a name that you chose for yourself. Is that correct?
Yes, I went through a lot of names trying to find the one that's right for me. It was really hard.
How did you choose that name?
Well,
if I may ask.
I went through a lot of stuff, and trying to for a long time I tried to avoid using a name that would be kind of gender neutral, because I was like, no, I want people to hear my name and know that I'm a guy, and not, then I can have that as some sort of barrier. But it wasn't until I finally let go of that I was able to find the right one. And I found Rory, which my family calls me, but it's my middle name. And it's, my Irish background, and, I love it, and it's the right name. And North was chosen out of a need for stability in my life, because I've been so rocky and on such a roller coaster of existence that I needed that. And the correspondence of the direction in people who know that sort of thing, North is for earth, for stability. And I believe that names can be chosen for a purpose, that they don't have to describe you, but they can describe how you want to be. So that's why I chose that.
Okay. That sounds good. I like that idea. When you were an adolescent, did you date?
I unsuccessfully. I had interesting crappy relationships in high school. I had not very long relationships. I had one with a guy, one of my friends, and that lasted like 2 weeks, and that was my first, and that didn't go so well. And I had another a guy who was not very good, as it turned out to be. He was not a very good person. So I'm glad that ended.
Sorry to hear that.
And then I had a girlfriend for several months, and we were pretty serious, but in the end, I don't think she was able to handle some of my weirder moments, and definitely not the whole trans thing. Like, that was starting to happen at the end of our relationship, and I just wasn't able to be fully honest and open enough with her, I think. So
how long did that relationship last?
Oh, it was like 8 months or something.
It's a pretty long relationship.
She was younger than me, but she was very mature, so it worked out well.
How old were you at that time?
I was, I think, 16, 15. Maybe both. Maybe over that period.
Okay. All right.
And then I didn't date for a while after her, because I couldn't, I don't know, I couldn't get myself to be okay with opening up to another person, and it was really hard. And then when I was 17, I met my current partner, and we've been together ever since. We've been married for 10 years. So,
wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, people say that's impressive, and I'm just like, you find the right person, the one that you can't see anybody else ever understanding you like that ever again, and that's just it.
Sure. Now, so that was when you started dating biological females?
Yeah, when I was like 15, 16. I'm bisexual, so I'm like, whatever, but...
Do you consider yourself to be homosexual, or...?
I'm definitely bi. I went for a period thinking that I wasn't into guys anymore, but that was just me trying to hide from, I think, the relationship that I had just gotten out of with the horrible person.
I see.
So I eventually realized that was wrong, and I'm like, whatever. I don't care about your genitalia as long as you're an awesome person. That's kind of how it goes with me.
So now you do have a significant other in your life at this time.
Yes.
And that person is female.
Biologically. I tend to use the pronoun they because they're kind of genderqueer, which I don't know if anybody's familiar with that term, but it just basically means that, like, inside you just don't feel like any particular gender, or sometimes you feel like one and sometimes the other, or you're maybe a third gender, or whatever. It's undefined. So that I have days with my partner where sometimes, we'll go out and she'll be wearing a skirt, and sometimes we'll go out and he'll be, wearing a chest binder or whatever and trying to present as male, and I'm like, oh, whatever, I don't care.
I'm glad that you brought up the definition, though, because I have a couple of definitions here that I thought might somehow help the conversation.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
So one of them would be transgender, which I did some online research, and the sources are, neither here nor there. So if these don't sound right to you, don't hesitate to say. But so the first one I have is transgender, of relating to or designating a person whose identity does not conform unambiguously to conventional notions of male or female gender roles, but combines or moves between these.
That one probably sounds more like genderqueer, I think. Transgender is a great word, but it's sort of an umbrella. I think people are starting to use it more than the word transsexual. The transsexual used to be more popular in its use, but I think that over time, people using it derogatorily, like, made it slip from common usage because people just didn't want to hear it anymore. But technically, transgender would be the umbrella of people who don't fit with their assigned birth gender.
Okay, I have another definition that I found, and that is people who were assigned a sex, usually at birth, based on their genitals, but who feel that this is a false or incomplete description of themselves. Is that closer?
Yeah, that's closer. I like that.
Okay. Then I have transvestite is a cross-dresser, one who dresses in the clothes of the opposite sex.
Right. And a lot of people think that means, like, especially for male transvestites, that means that the man is gay. But that is wildly wrong. There are so many straight men. It's very common for straight men to enjoy cross-dressing.
Yeah, I was reading about that. That's such an unusual thought. Transsexual people identify as a member of the sex opposite to that assigned at birth and desire to live and be accepted as such. They may undergo gender transition, the process of aligning one's gender expression with their internal gender identity. People who have transitioned may or may not necessarily identify as transgender or transsexual any longer, but simply as a man or a woman. And those who continue identifying as transsexual men or women may not want to ignore their pre-transition life and may continue strong ties with other trans people in raising social consciousness. Does this make any sense?
Yeah, that's a very well-written definition. I feel like that's pretty perfect in what it says.
It went on that the process of transition may involve some kind of medical gender reassignment therapy, and often but not always includes hormone replacement therapy and or sex reassignment surgery. References to preoperative, postoperative, and non-operative transsexual people indicate whether they have had, are planning to have, or have sex reassignment surgery, although some trans people may reject those terms as objectifying trans people based on their surgical status and not their mental gender identity.
Yeah, there's actually a growing movement in the trans community on the internet that I found for people reterming sexual reassignment surgery as gender realignment, because they feel that fits better. I agree, it fits better. It's a good term. And it's also important to note for listeners that it's considered quite rude to ask. I'm an open book. I don't care. Anybody can ask me anything. But for most people, it's considered very rude to ask if you're post-operative or pre-operative, like, my genitalia is none of your business sort of thing for most people. And for a lot of, it's true what you read, that a lot of people, once they have undergone their transition, they don't want to be, considered part of the trans community anymore. A lot of people do that. They just want to be, just want to be a man or just want to be a woman, and that's fine.
It kind of makes sense.
Yeah. I thought that way for a while, that I would want that. But after all this time, I feel more comfortable just educating people and letting that struggle that I went through be a part of my life and my public life, and I'm okay with that.
Okay, could you give us a couple more songs?
Yeah, okay, let's see, I have 3 songs left. Okay, let's do Halloween at least. This one's from Rent, and which is my favorite musical, and it's, well, I guess it's kind of self-explanatory when he sings it.
All right, you ready?
All right. Hi, it's Mark Cohen. Is Alexi there? No need to bother her. Just let her know that I'm running late for my appointment. I'm at my... Yes, I'll still be there. Yes, I signed the contract. Thanks. How did we get here? How the hell? Pen left, close on the steeple of the church. How did I get here? How the hell? Christmas Eve last year. How could a night so frozen be so scalding hot? How can a morning this mild be so raw? Why are entire years strewn on the cutting room floor of memory, when single frames from one magic night forever flicker in close-up on the 3D IMAX of my mind? That's poetic. It's pathetic. Why did Mimi knock on Roger's door and Collins choose that phone booth back where Angel set up his drums? Why did Maureen's equipment break down? Why am I the witness? And when I capture it on film, will it mean that it's the end and I'm alone?
That was amazing.
Thank you.
I'm not kidding you. I think a lot of people would pay money to buy CDs with that voice on it.
Well, good. I hope so. I'm right now. I focus more on straight acting because I am worried about my voice changing. Still, it's been 3 months, 4 months. Let's see, it was May when I started my hormones. So I'm definitely down to a point where it's probably going to stay somewhat like this, but I have read that there can be continued changes over a year to 3 years in your voice as you keep going with hormone therapy. So I worry about getting into musicals and stuff now, just in case things change during the course of the musical. That would be pretty bad. But so I do plays, and I do acting classes and whatever, and that's pretty awesome. But I hope my ultimate goal would be musical theater, I think.
I think you got the right idea.
Well, good.
I think you have the right idea. Was there a particular time in your life when you first considered getting gender reassignment therapy? Was that when you were 16, or was that after that?
Yeah, when I was 16. With my depression after that, I thought for a long time that I wouldn't be able to afford it. Even just the hormones, even like barring the surgery, although surgery is scary and its cost. But and stupid people in insurance companies think that it's an unnecessary thing, which is just dumb if you've ever known anybody who's trans, because often it's said that there are 2 ways to go about being trans, and one is getting surgery and the other is suicide. And that happens a lot. There are a lot of people who just can't deal with it and end up taking their own life, and it's very, very sad. But so the cost is a huge barrier, and for my adolescence and going into my young adulthood, I thought, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to afford this. And I couldn't hold a job because I was too depressed, and I just thought there was no way. So I got very depressed, and I tried to just hide it away for a while. And that just didn't work. It didn't work well, and I didn't start really kicking. I mean, my depression is always going to be there, I think, looming, but I didn't start really kicking it until I decided to just do this. I did some research, and I learned that depending on your provider, it can be affordable, and right now, I mean, I'm super lucky, I guess. I have this great clinic in Chicago that I go to that helps me get my hormones for cheaper. And now I get it I spend $50 and I have hormones for like 5 months. So
wow.
It's really fantastic.
It's incredible. So you're presently undergoing sexual reassignment therapy.
Yes, I am. I have, since May, I've been on the hormones. I have planned, I've had one surgery, which is a hysterectomy, which was awesome. No longer am I plagued by female problems every month, which is, I mean, let me tell you, when you're a girl and you have periods, it's painful. When you're a guy and have periods, it's exponentially worse, because it's the pain coupled with the wrongness every time. And then for me, I had endometriosis, so that made it even worse. Which I didn't know until they took the thing out, but now I know. So yeah,
I have to be honest with you. It is causing me a great deal of conflict inside of myself. It just sounds like such a painful process and such a painful change to go through.
Yeah, a lot of people. My mother tells me that all the time. That she worries that I'm going through all these surgeries, and it's painful and it's dangerous sometimes. Just going under anesthesia is always dangerous.
Sure.
And I understand the worry, but for me, that worry and the pain and everything negative that go along with it are just minor inconveniences, because this is so great that I can finally be this person that I am always supposed to be, and that I can find myself at last and finally get past this giant hole that I've always been in my life, and climb out and be awesome. Like, I feel so good about what I can bring to the world now, I think. And just that is worth it. It's worth every little bit of pain.
So some of the side effects that you've been going through as a result of the surgery and the hormone therapy include actual physical pain from the surgery itself, healing? Yeah,
the surgery healing was quite a process. It was I had that over the summer, and
did they remove your breasts?
No, not yet. I wish. That one is more expensive because I was able to get the hysterectomy covered by my insurance, so that I was able to do that first. It's also better to do the hysterectomy first generally, because when you start taking hormones, and if you still have ovaries, or if in the opposite way, testicles, like you are having fighting hormones, because your body is still producing the ones you were born with, and you're taking medication in the form of the one that you want, and they're fighting against each other. So it's the testosterone was able to easily work with my body more when I had no longer estrogen flowing through it. Are
you undergoing psychotherapy as well?
I am not at the moment, mostly because I have no time and no money, but I'm doing better also than I have been. But really my psychotherapy is more doing with my other personal issues and my depression and stuff more than this, because that happened when I was a teenager, working through these issues. But I've long since worked through them, and I know what I am and what I need to do, and so it's not even a problem anymore. I saw that same specialist that I saw when I was 16. I went back to her this year, and she was like, "Hey, you're back," and we talked for a little bit, but it was basically just a process talk, because it was obvious that I'm ready for this. So.
Okay, we're gonna have to take a break here, and we'll be back for some more conversation with North Rory, and don't touch that dial.